Hello, everyone. I'm Vijayanand, your host for this webinar. Thank you for joining us today. We are thrilled to have such an amazing audience from across Middle East and in fact from across the globe as we dive into today's webinar on debt recovery process transformation. It's now my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Sai Suresh, who is the head of pre-sales for Middle East and Africa at Intellect Design Arena. Sai brings with him over 20 years of experience in digital transformations, lending process transformations, financial innovation, and much more. Uh, Throughout his career, Sai has been at the forefront of shaping banking and lending ecosystems. So today, Sai will be will be sharing his insights on debt recovery process transformation using advanced technologies, a subject that is especially relevant in today's fast evolving lending ecosystem. Now, without further ado, I would like to welcome Sai to take the virtual stage. Welcome, Sai.
Introduction and a very warm welcome to everyone who have joined us today for this webinar. Here is the flow of our presentation. We'll begin by looking at the evolution and the changing phase of the debt management landscape. Next, we'll zoom out and get a macro level view of the debt management business and the delinquency trends both globally and in the Middle East markets. From there, we'll move into the current state of debt management systems and explore some of the common challenges faced by financial institutions in the Middle East market. Then we'll look into the role of automation and AI and how they are reshaping debt management landscape for financial institutions. We'll then give you a sneak peek into Intellect's eMAG.ai architecture and how eMAG.ai debt management solution helps financial institutions drive digital transformation through automation and AI. Finally, we'll open up the floor for some queries and feedback. Over the last few decades, debt management function has undergone a fundamental transformation, both in purpose and in capacity. It has evolved from being a reactive, manual-intensive process to a strategic, intelligence-driven function. Looking back at the 1990s, debt management was largely manual and reactive. It relied on one-size-fits-all strategy, face-to-face collections, and operated with minimal regulatory oversight. Fast forward to the early 2020s, the period brought a clear shift towards customer centricity, with mobile-first communications, rising customer expectations, and tightened regulatory control, making institutions to rethink their approach. Today, we are entering the age of AI-led intelligence, enabling debt management systems to effectively leverage machine learning, AI agents, and automation to enable smarter segmentation, proactive engagement, and higher efficiency rates. With our experience working alongside top financial institutions across the Middle East, we have seen the power of automation in debt recovery firsthand. Alongside, we have seen the cost benefits and the operational efficiency that it brings as part of the digital transformation process. McKinsey backs this data, reporting that automation can boost recovery rates by 20%, while also enhancing customer experience. And it's not just about speeding up collections. It's about enabling smarter engagement, improving regulatory compliance, and delivering highest customer satisfaction all at the same time. Today's customer expects more, even in the debt collections. PwC states 84% of customers expect personalized communications from their financial institutions during the debt recovery process. This shift pushes institutions to move away from blanket messaging and adopt more tailored, customer-centric engagement strategies to improve the debt recovery rates. AI and automation are not just buzzwords. They are actively transforming the debt recovery operations across various BFSI organizations. We have witnessed a 25 to 30% reduction in operational cost on an average, thanks to intelligent automation. For automating repetitive tasks to optimizing outreach timings and identifying channel preferences, automation is helping institutions to do more to do more with less, faster, smarter, and at scale. Let's take a look at the outlook of the debt management space from a global and a Middle East market perspective. Fitch Ratings has assigned a neutral outlook for the Middle East banks into 2025. It expects banks to maintain sound profitability, solid liquidity, and adequate capital buffers in line with the risk profiles. Lending activities across the GCC is expected to grow with a projected increase of 8 to 9% in Saudi Arabia and the UAE market, and about 3 to 6% in other GCC countries, reflecting a stable economic momentum and continued demand for credit. Cognitive Market Research states that the global debt collection market is projected to reach $30.5 billion in 2025, with a compounded annual rate of 3% between 2025 and 2033. This growth rate is supported by sustained market demand for recovery services and rising use of technology in the collection space. Here is a summary of the non-performing assets ratios across various regions as well as from a global perspective. The global average for the non-performing assets is between 3 to 3.5%. The Middle East countries show a broader range of NPA ratios, from as low as 1.1% in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait to as high as 4.8% in UAE. However, the Central Bank of UAE expects this rate to fall to 4.1% in 2025. With our experience collaborating with several financial institutions of all sizes in the Middle East market region, we observe that the current state of debt management in the Middle East market is still reactive than being proactive. There are several reasons that can be attributed for this state, and we can discuss few of those reasons over here. Most applications used in the credit origination process for assessing the customer's creditworthiness still follow a traditional credit assessment process, and this has limitations in fully assessing the customer's behavioral aspects. A report from Experian states that over 71% of the financial institutions rely on traditional credit assessment methods and use standard factors like credit scores, credit card loan payments, employment history, standard ratios, information got from public records like bankruptcy details for adjudicating the customer request. These information do not provide a complete picture of the customer's financial habits and behavior at the time of underwriting a credit request. This narrow view of the customer's behavioral traits and the absence of alternate customer behavior information such as spending patterns, daily expenses, emergency spending creates a blind spot and subsequently leads to defaults as high as 40%, impacting the overall credit portfolio of the bank, leading to losses. Further, lack of integration between systems hindered the free flow of information back and forth from the origination system to other peripheral applications, impacting quick decision making. And it also does not support events like automated rejection when additional credits are being requested by customers. The lack of flexibility in configuring intelligent segmentation as part of the debt management application leads to a one-size-fits-all approach in the recovery efforts. A report from EY states that 80% of the financial institutions still rely on customer and account level attributes for debt segmentation process. Factors relating to the customer's behavior, spending pattern often do not form part of the collection life cycle, as well as during the debt segmentation and assessment processes, thus leading to limited assessment of customer's risk, probability of repayment, and hence resulting in 45% higher defaults in customers. These limitations further makes the collection strategies, recovery rates inefficient, and further leads to a reduced team morale and customer frustration. A major challenge for the debt collectors is to access multiple applications to view the customer's complete information, such as customer payments, external liabilities, documents, viewing court proceedings, and tracking repossession details. Absence of a comprehensive customer 360 leads to increased time being spent by collectors to process the cases, and it negatively impacts the experience of both collectors as well as the customers. Multiple sources of data about the customer, namely payment histories, profile details, present across various applications, creates a challenge for collectors to have a holistic understanding of the customer's behavior, leading to miscommunication, ineffective collection strategies, and failure to understand the customer's situation for corrective actions. The next challenge financial institutions face is the lack of integration or the real-time integration. Absence of real-time API-enabled ecosystem hinders seamless real-time operations such as online payment collections, loan restructuring, loan rescheduling, leading to increased manual interventions and time lags. A report from Accenture states that 40% of financial institutions still rely on legacy systems that are hindering real-time debt collection, leading to delays and manual intervention. Further, siloed systems also lead to disintegrated experiences for customers across channels. Unavailability of real-time data insights between systems hamper leveraging real-time information such as customer payments, predicting the recovery outcomes such as payment behavior, exposure at risk, thus impacting the recovery and the customer experience. Non-digitized processes in debt collection involves operations beyond the conventional customer follow-ups, such as capturing outcomes of legal proceedings and repossession operations. Financial institutions carry out such processes outside the system with limited or no data flowing back into the collection application as a structured process, thus leading to information gaps. Similarly, remote operations performed by field agents happen as in a non-digitized manner, leading to disjointed operations. Hence, in summary, these challenges that we discussed thus far presents multiple impacts to the financial institutions, and these are not limited to increased cost of operations, which can be as high as 30%, 15 to 20% drop in the efficiency rates, and hence the recovery falls down, reduced customer experience, and hence the satisfaction levels of the customer also drops. Now let's take a look at the role of automation and AI and how it helps financial institutions in transforming the debt collection and recovery. With our experience consulting many financial institutions and having implemented over 25 plus successful installations of debt collection system in the Middle East market, we observe that multiple financial institutions are in various levels of maturity in digital transformation. Some of these organizations still rely on manual processes, which are increasingly unsustainable due to rising operational cost and inefficiencies, while few other organizations are tied to their rigid legacy systems that limit adaptability, speed, which are key factors in today's fast-moving, compliance-heavy environment. In contrast, leading banks and digital-first organizations are accelerating their transformation journey by deploying well-proven off-the-shelf platforms and infusing advanced technologies such as AI, machine learning, and predictive capabilities to improve the efficiency of their collection processes. These capabilities are enabling institutions to perform smarter segmentation, take informed decisions, and tailor the customer interactions, which are critical for increasing the recovery rates. Now let's take a look at 5 key approaches that can help financial institutions leverage technology and stay ahead in the digital evolution. Let me take the support of the below process to highlight areas of AI and automation which can be included as part of the overall debt recovery process. Let's start with a macro picture of a credit process with the credit origination system. A customer's request for a credit, say a loan or a card, is thoroughly analyzed and decisioned as part of the loan origination life cycle. Once the customer request is approved, information flows into the respective servicing systems for further processing. So sticking to a happy flow where the customer is granted a credit, after a thorough analysis, the granted exposures get serviced as part of the core product processes. Now the core product processes could be a loan management system for a loan product. It could be a card management system for a card product. And hence the servicing systems store a variety of information about the customer and his various relationship with the financial institutions. So some of the information stored within the servicing systems include delinquency details, customer basic information and demographic data, product information, repayment details, pricing details, limits and collateral information, payment histories, guarantor information, and the history of communications that has been sent out from the bank to the customer. Now, as part of the servicing life cycle, certain customers become delinquent, and these customers are followed up as part of the debt collection and recovery process. For institutions that are still adopting manual collection processes, all the stages that I'm going to discuss henceforth are avenues for automation and digital transformation. The debt management process begins with automated segmentation of the debt portfolio by analyzing customer and account level attributes such as customer accounts, segments, overdues, due outstanding, bucket details, and other special attributes. Further, automated processes analyze patterns, exclude outliers, and allocate the portfolio across agencies for follow-up and debt recovery. The use of AI agents as an additional dimension for in the debt collection process further enhances the process efficiency by many folds and eventually saves more on the operational cost. The BSG report states that next-gen collection strategies can deliver a true competitive advantage and facilitate in cost reduction by up to 30%. Now, adoption of agentic AI or LLMs as part of the portfolio segmentation process in the debt systems can allow financial institutions to find new dimensions for deeper analysis of the customer behavior, trends in the payment, default patterns, and customer-specific needs. Now, the slide depicts a representative list of agentic AI agents for the purpose of this discussion, which helps the banks to segment the data based on various dimensions. And these agents pass the processed information across other similar agents for their independent analysis. For example, the segmentation agent or the LLM analyzes factors like customer segmentation, logs of earlier communications that were sent out, various relationships that are held by the customer in the past and in the present, to perform a detailed analysis of the customer profile and also understand the communication preferences. The predictive agent analyzes factors like payment patterns and defaults to predict the probability of payment, make an assessment of when the customer could probably stop making payments, as well as make computations on the customer risk and categorize those risks into risk grades. The advisory agent, on the other hand, similarly analyzes call patterns, conversation logs, customer commitments to ascertain the best time to call or the best mode of calling the customer, and a sequence of communication patterns that are needed to nudge the customer to make the payments. The task and actor identification agent assesses the agent and their skill sets to determine the allocation of cases. The agent works on the basis of analyzing the agent's skills and unique expertise and match that with that of the customer cases to help the agent improve the recovery rates. This in turn also improves the morale of the agents as well. The communication agent, on the other hand, helps to trigger personalized communications based on earlier customer assessments made by other agents, communications sent out earlier, communication channel preferences, refining the tonality of the communication that needs to be sent, and finally triggering frequency-based communications in appropriate channels to increase the debt recovery rates. These examples taken shows how analysis performed by each agents independently are utilized by other agents to make the overall process efficient, reduce cost, and improve communication, and also enhance the morale of the team. Now, as part of the entire process, the system stores the analysis, the predictions, and the inferred insights as part of the knowledge base. And it also stores the AI models as part of the embedded model base within the application. The API agents also stores the different API plugins that are required to communicate and interact with peripheral systems as part of the API knowledge base as well. Now, the use of these various agents or LLMs results in a variety of automated actions in the system and provide a host of benefits. For example, the event-driven actions could result in timely communication through preferred communication channels with an appropriate personalized message tonality, and compliance with the regulatory requirements. The advisory services rendered by the system could include recommendations to agents about customer vulnerabilities, cash flows, and it can also suggest payment options and settlement plans. The advisory services for agents could also include custom call script generation, call suggestions, customer sentiment analysis, best time and channel of communication. Similar services can also be extended to customers through voice and non-voice based channels 24/7, through chat services and IVR channels for real-time inquiries, payments, or other assistance. Configurable workflows, on the other hand, plays yet another key role in automation to streamline processes, enable criteria-based approvals, increase process auditability, structured data capture, and enable seamless and interconnected ecosystems. Workflow adoption also supports non-digitized processes such as legal processes, repossession processes to be digitized and centrally store information for further processing. Further, the workflows can also support in real-time operations such as online payments, loan deferrals, and reduce manual interventions to avoid time lags. The process automation also supports in automated task allocations, automated communications, and automated and targeted case allocations for follow-up. Lastly, automation also supports in seamless integration with multiple external and internal systems for gathering primary as well as secondary sources of information on a real-time basis. These information could help in reducing the overall time that is being taken for processing, and it can also ensure timely availability of information for making informed decisions and judgments. Real-time integration between ecosystems can also support an early prediction of customer defaults during the credit origination process by analyzing customer behavioral traits to reject non-qualified applications very early in the process. This can also help to reduce customer defaults and losses for the financial institutions. We just discussed the role of automation and AI in the debt management and recovery space, and this slide summarizes the various approaches and their respective benefits that we just discussed. Automation of simple and repetitive tasks can save staff time by up to 40%. Event-driven workflows can improve the productivity and auditability by 15%. Seamless integration between ecosystems can support agents to stay on a single system to view the entire comprehensive information about the customers without having to refer to multiple applications, and hence it reduces the agent handling time by 15%. Personalization in communication supports in sending out targeted and personalized communications to customers and helps in increasing the recovery rates and the contactability rates by 25%. Inclusion of AI-driven processes within the debt management ecosystem supports to lower the collection cost by 20 to 25%, enabling tech-led operation models. Now, having seen the various avenues for implementing AI in automation and their benefits, the implementation of these capabilities requires an enterprise-grade architecture that is event-driven, scalable, supports seamless integration with multiple ecosystems, has ready domain packs for the end-to-end functionalities, and has embedded AI capabilities for enhancing productivity of the entire application. So let me take a few minutes now to introduce to you the iMACH.ai architecture, which forms the cornerstone of our solution. iMACH.ai architecture is a cutting-edge framework designed to empower banks and financial institutions with advanced digital transformation capabilities. iMACH.ai is a comprehensive, composable, contextual, and most innovative open finance platform to compose financial institutions' own unique signature solution. The name iMACH here stands for Event-Driven Architecture, Microservices, API-first design, cloud-native application, and headless functionality. This also comes with embedded AI capabilities for drastically enhancing the debt management system's efficiency. Event-driven design enables real-time processing and decision-making, by leveraging event-driven workflows across the banking operations. In the context of debt management, our solution provides capabilities like event-driven communication for payments, reminders, issuance of legal notices, event-driven workflows for settlement, repossession, configurable dunning, and real-time streaming of data on specific events. The solution comes with a comprehensive set of microservices, enabling modular and scalable solution tailored to specific business needs. The solution provides access to a library of ready action and inquiry APIs for seamless integration with bank and third-party systems, enhancing interoperability and flexibility. The solution is built on a cloud technology to ensure scalability, resilience, and cost effectiveness. The solution is agnostic to cross-cloud providers and can be deployed on public, private, and hybrid clouds. The headless architecture decouples the backend from the front end, allowing financial institutions to create a personalized user experience across multiple channels without backend constraints. The embedded AI capabilities contextually support and improve efficiency through AI agents. We call this as expert agents in the context of the embedded AI capability. And these expert agents perform a variety of operations, including chat assistance to agents, and it can help in dunning, communication, and we also support GenAI-based accelerators to enhance efficiency. Now, let me move on and give you a quick glimpse of the debt management solution, which is built on eMAG.ai architectural framework. The eMAG.ai debt management. Next. The eMAG.ai debt management system is AI-powered, it's modular, it's composable, and it's regionally proven. As I mentioned earlier, we have 25 plus active install sites in the Middle East alone, and it has the end-to-end capabilities that are required for institutions to immediately adopt the application and use them prudently. The solution comes with about 140 plus ready user journeys for immediate adoption. It has 36 plus ready APIs, which can easily support in seamlessly integrating with multiple ecosystems. It has 9 plus scalable microservices, and we support 8 plus different events such as communications, online operations, so on and so forth. Now, as we mentioned earlier, the solution is built on the eMAG.ai architecture, and hence it supports a low-code orchestration framework for rapid configuration and rollout. It is also event-driven, and hence communications, workflows, and other notifications can be configured based on real-time events as decided by the banks. The solution is flexible and comes with deep configuration and parameterization capabilities. As we mentioned, the solution is end-to-end automated, and hence it supports deep portfolio segmentation. It helps in flexible configuration of queues, both for normal allocation as well as escalation. The solution comes with inbuilt scoring and risk grading capabilities, and it also supports continuous monitoring. The embedded AI capabilities support as a efficiency enhancer. For example, we have the Gen AI-based conversational agents, which support the agents to be nimble in their activities. So they can inquire with the agent on a plethora of dimensions, and the agent would support them with contextual responses on a real-time basis. Automation using agentic AI for communication and segmentation are other key use cases that are part of the application. The solution is trusted by multiple financial institutions, as I've mentioned, and we have seen firsthand the application helping in reduction of cost by 40% and improving the recovery rates to 25 to 30%. The solution comes with a set of DIY toolkits for parameterization, orchestration, user management, API integration, reporting, as well as monitoring. I hope this webinar had given you a glimpse into the role of AI in automation and how it can help improve the efficiency of the debt collection systems. Now we'll open up the floor and take up some of the questions that you may have.
Thank you, Sai. Thank you for sharing such an interesting and amazing insights on debt process transformation. Now, I can see we have some questions coming up from the attendees. Okay, the first question is, Could you please elaborate more on the communication of AI with customers? Will it be done only through messaging, that is SMS?
Okay, thanks for the question, Jai. So as I mentioned right now in the webinar, I mean, communications is a cornerstone as far as the debt collection system is concerned. So communications happen within the application across various personas who kind of use the system. Communication also happens primarily with the customers. And hence communication is very key as far as the debt management solution is concerned. Now, as far as the AI is concerned, I mean, agentic AI does play a very vital role because information has to be gleaned from various sources to make it contextual. And then we have to personalize that particular information and then send it out to the customer at the right time. So let me take an example just to deep dive into how an agentic AI, as far as the communication may work, right? Let's assume a scenario where you have a debt management solution. There are peripheral applications, and one such an application is a dialer application, right? Now, a dialer application essentially allows the calls to be recorded, the interactions primarily between the agent and the customer, and it stores a repository of such communications within the system. Now, one use of the agentic AI or the LLM could be that the next time when the agent has to reach out to the customer, the LLMs can read the previous conversations, the voice conversations that were held between the agent and the customer. It can go through the various patterns and it can come out with certain sentiment, or it can come out with certain analysis in terms of giving an agent a clue regarding what is the mood of the customer, right? How he has behaved in the past in terms of making payments, and how he has kind of stuck to the commitments that he has given, so on and so forth. So in line with payment parameters like this, the customer's mood, the earlier communications, so on and so forth, the the communication agents can support a variety of use cases. Let me take a couple just for this discussion. It can generate a custom call script, right? Ensuring the right messaging is there. It's personalized to meet the customer's exact requirement. And it also ensures the right tonality is available as part of that messaging. So an automated call script helps the agent to kind of go through that and then prepare himself to communicate with the customer the right kind of information. There could be multiple options that he can also present to recover the debt. So it could be like he's offering a settlement plan, or it could be an instant debit, or it could be a deferment, so on and so forth. So all these patterns can also be embedded as part of that communication. So what happens is when the agent speaks to the customer, it becomes contextual. It becomes compliant to the regulatory requirements because the tonality of the message would ensure that. It will become time bound, and it can also be done. For example, SMS need not be, or email need not be the only source of communication. There are communication preferences the customer might have exhibited in the past, or we could have also analyzed, or the agents can also analyze the pattern, as I mentioned in my presentation right now. So they can check which kind of channel can give the maximum kind of output or return in terms of recovery. And in that particular channel, we can send out those communications to the customer. So this enables personalization of communication, number one, compliance to regulatory, number two, making the agents more aware of the context in which they are going to discuss with the customer. And then preparing the agent for such communications becomes essential. So the communication agents internally can support these agents in these kind of methods. Now, coming to external communications. Now, external communications could be, sending out messages in various channels that we discussed. On real time, customers can also inquire about their debts, or there could be multiple other inquiries that they may have. So even in channels like IVR or in channels like chat, right, the communication can be contextualized. So the tonality can be controlled, and the right kind of information and messaging can be packaged as well. So the communication agents can ensure these kind of communications comply and send out the right kind of message to the customer as and when required. So this, I'm just taking an example to explain how a communication agent can help in personalization as well as in sending out time-bound communications to the customer in the channel of preference.
Great, great. In fact, I could see two more questions which were on the same lines. I believe those were also those were also clarified. Now we have another question which says, how does eMAG.ai's configurability benefit debt collection processes?
Okay, so as I mentioned during my presentation, the eMAG.ai architecture follows or allows the financial institutions to compose their own signature solution, right? The eMAG.ai debt management system, which adopts the principles of eMAG.ai, comes ready with about 140 plus user journeys, 36 plus APIs, and 8 plus events and 9 plus microservices for ready adoption by financial institutions. And I've also mentioned this as well earlier. So the solution has been used by multiple financial institutions of various sizes. And hence it's a well-proven application as far as the Middle East market is concerned. Now, in addition to this, the solution is specifically well-designed, refined, and fine-tuned to meet the specific needs of this market, specifically on the processes that are adopted in legal repossession areas, for instance, the guidelines that needs to be followed in this market, the regional compliances that are prevalent and applicable, and also in terms of the data requirements. So having said that, the solution also allows the financial institutions to compose their own collection strategies through simple configuration. For example, the queue definitions and configurations, the case prioritizations that we have to do, the escalation management, which forms a key part of the debt management process, communications through various channels. We just discussed that, how AA can also support in such communications. Configuration and orchestration of APIs and how you can publish them to connect to external systems. Composing various workflows for various processes which are inbuilt as part of the application, and how financial institutions can also leverage the configurability quotient that the platform allows to extend the solution. And then configuration of reports as well. So there could be a set of dynamic reports, ready canned reports that are available from the platform, which largely would be sufficient for any financial institutions. However, we also give you the capability to configure the reports for the banks through a very simple drag and drop configuration platform, which can also support banks to add on additional reports and dashboards based on their choices. Now, these capabilities can also help banks to have greater control, to enhance their processes, manage their processes better, and have very less dependency on the vendors or the platform. So that's how eMAG.ai, the debt management system in particular, supports financial institutions to have greater control on their processes.
Okay. Great. So I believe the time is over, but I would like to cover one last question, Sai, and the rest of the questions we will respond over email.
Sure.
And the last question is, the gentleman is asking, why do you think that automation of the debt processes requires a robust architecture? And how does eMAG.ai architecture play a key role in debt collection?
Okay, see, automation is very key, not only for debt collection processes, but for any process. But automation of the debt management process specifically requires a robust architecture for a specific set of reasons. Now, firstly, the debt management system needs to be able to provide users. When I say users, it could be the agents, it could be the managers, with dynamically event-driven capabilities. Now, these capabilities could include real-time communications, which we just discussed, initiation of context-based approval processes. So this could be for creating a deferral process, which could ease the cash flows for the customers, and hence that could increase the probability of customer making the payments, and hence the recovery process, the recovery of the debts becomes more possible. Responding to real-time customer inquiries. So we discussed about the channels. It could be IVR, it could be the chat, Or it could also be the agent inquiring on a different set of dimensions regarding the payment patterns, etc., etc. So the system needs to be event-driven, and that's key. Secondly, the processes involved in the debt management solution are complex, and they have to deal with a lot of volume of data, and hence the architecture should support and allow the applications to scale and meet this kind of a demand as well. But thirdly, the debt collection system needs to be integrated with multiple systems within the bank, and of course, at times outside the bank also, that enable real-time operations like online payments. So to facilitate such kind of a use case or an operation, the solution needs to be able to seamlessly integrate. Then the processes are largely driven by workflow and data, and this needs to be amended from time to time, aligning in line with the business changes. Right? And hence, without a strong architectural foundation, automation can become inefficient and it can become difficult. Now, eMACH.ai collection system, debt collection system specifically, leverages on the eMACH.ai architectural principles. And eMACH.ai employs an event-driven architecture as a core design principle, making it highly responsible, scalable, and adaptable to model financial institution requirements. Hence, the architecture being event-driven supports a variety of real-time communication, data streaming, event-driven workflows, etc., in a seamless manner. And the solution is also built on microservices, which allows the solutions to scale and hence handle higher volumes. And eMACH architecture also supports in seamless integration, as I mentioned earlier. And it also comes with a ready library of APIs that can be readily used and adopted by various institutions. It also comes with a composable platform for configuring your APIs as well as your workflows, which may undergo change from time to time, and needs a greater control as well. And hence, these architecture principles allow financial institutions to leverage the eMACH.ai debt management platform capabilities. And hence, we believe that it's very well suited for the region, and its steady adoption capabilities, kind of seconds that particular thought.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sai, for sharing your insights. Thank you all for attending our webinar. We truly appreciate your time and engagement, and we hope you found the session insightful and valuable. Your participation and thoughtful questions actually helped make the event much engaging. We look forward to having you join us in future sessions as well, and keep the conversation continuing. Should you have any further questions or queries, or you need any additional information, you can always reach out to us. Thank you all.